What's up, everybody? Welcome to Metal Remains Backstage. My name is Manuel. I'm in Madrid, and joining me from New York is Miss Kristin from the band Temperance.
Hey.
Hi, Kristin. How are you?
I'm in New York, so everything is great.
A bit jet-lagged, I suppose, from your travels.
Yes. I just played a festival called Killer Z Festival in Germany. But I'm here in New York visiting my parents because I live in Sweden. So okay. I kind of had to.
So you are always traveling from one place to another, right?
Always.
And while you travel, I bet you hear some music. So can you share with us, what have you been listening to recently?
Oh boy. What do so I guess like when I listen to music the most, it's probably on the plane. Mm-hmm. And there are some, I guess, comfort albums that I listen to. One of them, actually, two of them are by a band called Wilderrun. I don't know if you've heard of them.
I've heard the name, yeah.
They are so amazing. They're like symphonic prog, just absolutely amazing production, orchestration, and their album "Sleep at the Edge of the Earth" like just puts me in such a nice, calm
sleeping like the earth.
Yeah, it's like exactly. It's my travel album. Drive to it and stuff like that. But also, Leprous album from a couple years ago is also in my rotation. It's just such a fantastic album. Also, a lot of some Devin Townsend recently. Mm-hmm. Just another fantastic, amazing artist. What else am I listening to? Sometimes I still listen to the Twilight Force albums. One, not only just for practicing, but I love them so much.
You can't get enough of that music, right?
I can't.
We got to see you guys live at Leyendas del Rock earlier this year. It was a crazy show. We loved it. People went, nuts with all the things that go into your shows. We're going to talk about that later on, but I wanted to share with you that I was listening this week, and the previous one as well, this little album called Hermitage, Daruma's Ice Part 2 from Temperance, which is set to be released on October 20th via Napalm Records. Before we can speak about it, I wanted to know more about yourself. We've done our little research, Carlos and I, which he's missing, by the way, he's missing in action. And you have a formal education in musical arts, in vocal performance. Can you tell us a bit more about it?
I actually have my doctorate in opera performance.
Wow.
So, I did, my bachelor's is in guitar performance, guitar education performance.
Okay, let me pick up my monocle.
Yeah, and then my master's and doctorate are in vocal performance. So that actually is, I completely owe my entire career to my education. I know it's not everybody's path, but for me it totally was. And I was doing opera a lot up until the pandemic, and then I lost all jobs. And I know, right? As everybody did. And so that's when I decided, I said, fuck it. I've been a metal fan my entire life, but I never really performed it because I've been in the opera world, and the opera world kind of frowns upon doing other genres, especially they don't understand metal at all.
Yeah.
And so, but I said, fuck it. And I said, I'm going to do a YouTube channel of doing metal covers. I wasn't expecting anything from that at all. But then it ended up getting me so much work and opportunities, and I didn't realize that people would really love it. So then I just kept doing more and more. It's been super crazy. It's really hard to kind of explain. I've been with doing all these festivals and touring this whole year after the pandemic, and everything all came at once, so it's been kind of overwhelming.
I understand. I totally understand, and I can relate to
Yeah.
that because we also started this not thinking it will come too much, but it got us so many opportunities, and we're very thankful for that. So we invite everybody to subscribe to our channel, like this video, share it with your friends, and follow, of course, Kristin in Instagram and all her projects as well, so we can continue with this growth, right? And we would love to hear how you got on board with Temperance. Can you share that with us?
Yeah, that was also pretty crazy. I met Marco Pastorino, who is the main songwriter for Temperance, on 70K like 4 or 5 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And
the big cruise ship, right?
Yeah, it's the best cruise it's the best thing in the world.
There's another cruise over here in Europe that people also like to go to. So there's a bit of a debate which is the best.
70K is the best.
Okay, settled.
70K is the best.
It's settled then.
Settled. I've never been to the Europe cruise, but I really hope one day we'll play. I mean, actually Twilight Force just played one of the bigger cruises over there, but unfortunately I had another gig, an opera gig in New York, so I needed to take that one instead than go with them, unfortunately. But
it's a shame.
I hope to experience the other cruises.
Okay, good. Looking forward.
Yes. So I guess Marco has just like I didn't really keep in touch, but like I guess he was following kind of what I was doing over the years. Mm-hmm. And then he said, I actually did a Beast in Black cover, and he said that was the cover that made him go, I want this voice in Temperance. And I guess late December, he called me up and said, or texted me, he's like, hey, do you have time to chat? And I was like, okay. I thought maybe he wanted to do a collab of some sort. And then he called me and said, hey, we have this huge tour and we're going to be losing Alessia. And it was like 3 tours that was all combined from the pandemic. And he said, we're going to be losing Alessia. Would you want to do the tours? And I was like, whoa, okay, yes, I'm going on tour with Twilight Force. And so they kind of overlapped, but I was like, but I can meet you afterwards. And I thought like maybe they'll just get a different singer. He's like, no, we'll do that. And I was like, okay. So I was like, okay, we'll meet up after that. So I went to the Temperance store immediately after the Twilight Force tour. The day after was crazy. But anyway, and then 2 days after that, he calls me up. He's like, actually, can you join the band?
By the way, since you're here.
Yeah, it was like, it was pretty crazy. And I was like, whoa, okay, this was a lot all at once. And I said, honestly, I want to tour with you guys first because I want to make sure that
everything comes together, right?
Yeah. Well, and I didn't want to just like jump at it. Right. I didn't know if they're like, I mean, I met him before and I knew he was very nice, but you never know what it's like to work with people. And I was just super like, cautious about doing this. So, but then he said, okay, but the problem is we need to record this album before you go on tour.
So you have like a week notice to learn the songs and all that.
Yes, it was around. It was less than a month, I think, that he, a couple weeks really. He's had to send me the songs. I recorded my parts at my house in one session. So I recorded the whole album in just a couple hours.
Wow.
And it was actually really crazy. And I sent it to him, and he only sent me just a few revisions that I had to make. And that was it. So that was like also a good first experience, was that, okay, he was really easy. Like he wasn't picky about what I did on the album, which made me really happy to be like, because I was like, I have no time.
So there were no
whole ass album.
There were no other takes in studio, because I have listened to that album many times. Not once have I thought maybe this was recorded on someone's wardrobe or something.
No, I have a full studio setup in my house, so it worked. But no, this was all really one session. It's actually crazy. But I was, I obviously did my best, and I picked the best takes that I did, and I sent it to him just, I hope this is good. I mean, there really isn't so much time to do this, but of course, I would never send something that I wasn't proud of.
Yeah.
So I knew that I knew that he would like it. I just expected that I would have more edits or more redos, but nope. So that was interesting. And so I've just been so excited because it's been since January since this album's been done. And
it's been a long wait.
It's been a long wait. And I've been, with Temperance now for tons of shows. I mean, we had 60 shows in that tour, which was absolutely insane. Then we had some festivals and some other shows here and there. So like it's been a journey, I guess, with them. But they're fantastic guys. They're great. They're really funny. We're always laughing.
Yeah, we know Mick.
Yeah.
Mick is a friend of the show.
Yes.
We've met him at Wacken, in New York, here in Spain, everywhere. And he's been in Latin America. I think the Visions of Atlantis tour is still going. So, or maybe right at the end of it. Yeah, he's been all over the place. And now let's dive into the new album. We had the chance to listen to it, thanks to Napalm, like we said. And we noticed an evolution in the sound of the band. This album captures the attention of the listener. The sound is epic, bombastic, and it has so many vocal layers you can go crazy trying to dissect it. You have to pay a lot of attention to what's going on. So can you please share with us some details about the composition, if you were to add things to it, or maybe you've heard from the guys? How did this come together?
Those great questions. I think the evolution of the sound of Temperance is really great. It's actually more so like the type of music that I really love. Not that Temperance was great before, but I really love the direction the band is going. It's definitely more bombastic, more everything. But I know Marco told me that he basically had to change all of the female vocal lines around to fit my voice better. Originally it was written with Alessia's voice in mind. So he actually redid everything. And I think it worked out really well because I like to think that the album showcases a lot of different styles of my voice. And it was really cool. I was a little bit more nervous that it would be a bit more poppy like the previous ones, because I'm like, oh, that's not super my vocal style in metal. So but he changed it so that I was like, wow, this is really cool stuff. Like I really am proud of this album.
Oh, you should be, with good reason. Even from the very beginning, you start with this powerful operatic singing, then you transition to some more melodic stuff, modern stuff. You also have some growls over there. And Kristin, how was that experience coming to Spain for Leyendas del Rock? It was very hot that day. You were using these awesome costumes, headpieces, and all that. How was that experience?
Oh, Leyendas del Rock, that was an interesting experience. Yeah, it was so hot, but we had a great hotel that we were able to kind of go into the pool and have a little bit of we never really get to go to a pool when we're at a festival or something. Leyendas was a little, we got a little nervous there because there was some technical issues where I actually didn't end up coming on to the third song. Yeah, so that was a little frustrating and worrisome, but it ended up being such a great show because the crowd feedback was fantastic. That was like one of the best festivals. I mean, Spain is so great with their energy, and it honestly it reminds me of New York energy. It's very specific and different than I think than a lot of Europe. Europe is a little bit more
laid back.
They're a little more vibing shows, but in New York it's very wild and passionate and rough. But not that everyone is not passionate in Europe, but it's a very different sort of feel.
I think it comes from the mixture of cultures. You have people from all around the world, and that's what happens also in festivals. You get to meet new people, live together with them a couple of days, smell them, because the smell was all over the place with that heat.
I totally agree.
It's a very good experience. We invite everybody to go to festivals, specifically festivals that include Temperance, Twilight Force, and any of Kristin's endeavors. And Kristin, to wrap up this chat, can you share with us one of your favorite backstage moments?
We've had some huge laughs backstage over stupid stuff with both bands. But I think probably one of the coolest and most humbling was probably at Wacken. I mean, playing Wacken this past year with Twilight Force is Playing this was an absolute fever dream come true. It's like one of those things you never expect you're actually going to do. But like being backstage and eating dinner with just these massive artists, like Iron Maiden was back there, just casually eating, and we're just like, what? And I mean, a lot of, at this point, like I feel like I'm you're friends or you get to know with a lot of people in a lot of more modern bands, and so it's also amazing to see friends like and just also what they're doing with their careers and what we're doing. It's just like kind of a crazy feeling. I think that's what hits me the most in the backstage areas that are just like realizing that your life is just like theirs now. And these people that you might have looked up to that are now your friends. But I think that just seeing Iron Maiden and fucking backstage was super weird. In a good way, but it doesn't. It's it also Alcatraz was such an amazing festival.
A huge one, right?
Huge. We played main stage, the prison stage, and that was just what an amazing crowd, an amazing stage. Summer Breeze too. I mean, all the festivals were.
You've had one hell of a year, let me tell you.
It's been a crazy summer and a hell of a year, and I mean, all those experiences blend together. But I guess the biggest takeaway for me is just like being so like humbled that I'm doing this and what I love, and with the coolest people in the world, and with great food and great friends, and it's just cool.
Great. I can totally relate. Also, well, while not a musician anymore, being backstage for what we do here at Metal Remains has opened up that experience as well to us. Maybe just a little less glamorous. Maybe we don't have like a trailer with food on, but we got free water. So that has to count for something, right?
Hey, at festivals, yes. It's like $5 for water. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Thank you very much, Kristin, for joining us for this. I hope we can meet you again in the future in person, not in this like virtual backstage, on a proper one.
Yes. Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
If you like this interview, like it, share it with your friends. Make sure to subscribe to our channel, follow Kristin wherever she goes, and make sure to buy and stream Hermitage Daruma's Eyes Part 2, which is out on October 28th, to double support Temperance. And until then, stay metal!